Heart of a Coward of a new song out, and I'm very excited to hear it, but also a bit anxious, right? They changed their singer a year or two ago, and I liked the new songs, but I loved what they were in the past. Let's see what direction they're going in with their latest stuff. So this song is called This Place Only Brings Death, and go! Very core and guitar sound here.
I give out everything. Bury me deep in this place of death. Fighting for borrowed time, just to watch the skies burn.
Very staccato.
My soul, bury me alive.
Oh. There's a bit of a Heart of a Coward old school in this bit. I'm enjoying that hi-hat and the ghosty snare.
This place brings only death. Asphyxiating in the wake of what's left. Release me from this. Just another body to discard. Erase my soul, lead me to the flames. I choke under the toxic sky, suffocating as my lungs collapse. I choke
Of that thaw band.
under the toxic sky, destined to watch the future burn. Take my
Kind of old school new metal sound there in that section.
everything. Bury me deep in this place of death. Fighting for borrowed time, just to
I think if they didn't leave the snare here,
erase my soul,
a bit better groove, but
be alive. As the world collapses, just leave me there in my dream.
there's some almost like synth orchestra layer in there. It's hard to pick out. I love this bit. It's got so much tension to it.
I give it everything.
Little marching snare with some gaps.
This place only brings
Give it to me. Okay. Came in a little early. Took a little bit of the sting out of it. Playing with those cymbals.
This place only brings death.
Offbeat crash, nice. Or China, maybe. I quite like that rhythm.
Just leave me there in my dream. As the flames end,
Somehow there's some meat lacking from it somewhere.
just leave me here to burn. This place only brings death.
What a ridiculous end. Total offbeat. Okay. Alrighty. Heart of a Coward. I'll try and break this thing down. So drums had some really interesting things going on there. Moments I fucking loved. And moments I was like, okay. Anytime you lead with a snare, it's the first beat of the four in a kind of 4/4 song. For me, I don't know. It depends on how you cushion the rest of the pattern around that as to whether that works for me as a groove. This one, leading with the snare in most of that, those sections where it did, it was sort of, I don't know. It took the groove out of what otherwise would have a lot of groove because of what the guitars were doing. I didn't really dig that, but there were some great color and decorative areas on the snare with the ghost notes and things. The marching fill that was going up was not just every fucking 16th note. There were gaps in there. It was kind of interesting patterns, which I liked. It's really interesting, delicate cymbal work going back and forth between splashes and crashes and things and chinas. Loved all of that. plenty of space given to some areas there, and you know, overall it was decent. I thought the drumming was decent. It had some fucking great moments in there, but also some things I thought were just, I don't know, they took some of the groove and feel out of it somehow, which is a bit of a shame. The guitars, I really loved the pattern positioning of when it goes in that kind of chorus. That groove of the offbeats and the way that kind of comes together, I find quite satisfying, but somehow it didn't have anywhere to go from there. I don't really know, like, I don't know, it was almost like there was something missing in this song. I mean, that's a kind of overall song comment, but the guitars I thought were doing fine work. There were some great riffs in there, but it also kind of sounded like a collection of riffs as opposed to a cohesive overall song statement. It was kind of like, all right, let's write some parts and put them together and we'll make that a song. There was something missing from the overall journey of that. And I don't know whether that's to do with the guitars or that's an overall song comment, but there was something there that just didn't tie together for some reason. The vocals I thought were strong. I still have a preference for their previous vocalist. His screams and cleans I thought were magnificent. This new gentleman is a phenomenal vocalist. I mean, it's really hard to do what he's doing here, and he's very consistent in it. It sits fairly well within the mix and the sound of the whole band overall, and he still captures some of the old school Heart of a Coward vocal stylings and melodies and tones and things. So there's some satisfying bits and pieces in there. It wasn't like I don't remember the melody from the chorus, which is a bit of a shame, right? It doesn't really land in the same way as some of their other songs have done, which is unfortunate. But you know, it was a serviceable part of the song overall, and did a fine job. Other elements, there was some kind of really low in the mix, almost orchestral kind of synthy keyboard, almost harpsichordy sort of sound in there, which is an interesting layer, but it was so low in the mix you could barely pick it out, but it just added a sort of layering to support a grandness to the song that otherwise felt like it was missing a bit of overall punch and power and grandness. I don't know how that's happened, but we could talk about it. Like, overall, I thought it was, you know, good. You know, there's definitely things about that I liked. There was a vibe in there that was kind of satisfying. I know I'm going to listen to that a few times, and it might be that over multiple listens, it kind of seeps into my pores a little bit more. But there was a hollowness to it, and I don't know how or where and why that is. And I can't seem to explain that in musical terms, because the musicianship was fine. Like, I can't really criticize any of it. The leading with the snare stuff, that's maybe a personal thing, but it doesn't really carry groove. Otherwise, those sections of the songs, I think, would have been phenomenal with more of a groove to it. There were some efforts to have a bit of groove in the chorus, but somehow after the initial cool pattern groove start with those offbeat guitar stabs that were echoed by what the drums were doing, it didn't really go anywhere in as much of a satisfying way as it sort of started there. So it was, you know, it was a song. It was a good, you know, let's go to the rating. Fuck it. I thought that was a solid song. I don't, you know, there were some moments of potential deliciousness. Mostly, to be honest, when they were leaving some space and there was some snare work and ghost notes, bits and pieces, and those little symbol color decorations. That, for me, was starting to elevate it to something really interesting. And that little snare build up towards the last, like, kind of breakdowny thing. But it came in early to the next section in a way that wasn't really surprising. It sort of just took the sting out of the build-up. It was, yeah, somewhat unsatisfactory as a listener for the first time. Much respect to this band. These musicians are amazing. They've created some incredible music in the past, and maybe that's the crux of it. I'm comparing them to the high bar that they've set for themselves in the past by proving they can play and write songs at a really fucking high level. So if this was a brand new band that came out of nowhere with this song, I'd probably be like, hey, this is pretty great, and you guys could keep going. But because of how good Heart of a Coward had been in the past, this was a solid song overall. You know, I don't hate it. It was solid. For me, there was something missing in there. I don't know what it is. It's hard to describe. I've done my best, but God, there's promise, and I will continue to check out their new stuff because I know there's goodness there. There's some greatness. They're still finding that balance, perhaps, in their new era of the band. But yeah, that was a solid song. If you enjoyed this video, please do boop the like button. It'll help other people on YouTube find and potentially enjoy this video as well. If you want to see more videos like this, then feel free to subscribe, and then you'll see future videos that I make doing reactions here. If you're interested in music beyond the rock genre, do feel free to check out the link in the description. Otherwise, have a wonderful day, and maybe I'll see you in another video.